A lot of us think they're stuck because they've not found their style yet, but most of them are stuck because they have no direction, and that is a very different problem. Because if your page jumps from fan art to portraits to logos to random studies and experiments to commissions open, the issue isn't that your style hasn't magically arrived yet. The issue is that nobody, including yourself, knows what all this work is supposed to lead to. So in this video, I want to show you why chasing an art style keeps so many artists stuck, what actually matters more, and the shift that changed things for me personally. Because I wasted years thinking style was the answer. I thought if I could just find the perfect look, the perfect visual identity, the perfect this is me way of drawing, then everything else will just click. The clients will come, the opportunities will come, the confidence within myself would come. But that is not what happened at all. What actually happened was I made loads of random work, posted without a clear plan, chased random attention, copied trends, and kept hoping that style would somehow solve a directional problem. But it didn't. And I think a lot of artists are doing the exact same thing. They're obsessing over questions like, what is my style? Should I be more painterly? Should I simplify things more? Should I make it darker, cleaner, more realistic, or stylized? But those are not the first questions you should be asking. The first question is, what do you actually want your art to do? Because style is not a career plan. Style is not a business model. Style is not a substitute for direction. If you do not know what kind of work you want to make, who it's for, or what you want it to lead to, then style becomes a distraction. You keep changing the surface because the deeper problem hasn't been solved. And this is where artists get trapped. They think they have a style problem. What they actually have is a directional problem. Here is the blunt version that I want to give you. A lot of artists don't need to find their style. They need to decide where they're trying to go. Do you want to work with bands? Do you want to work with authors? Video game companies? Film studios? Editorial clients? Do you want to sell your artwork to collectors? Do you want to make prints? Do you want to make covers, for merch, for bands, for posters for films? Concept-driven personal work. Because once you know where you're trying to go, your creative decisions start to get a lot clearer. Not easier, clearer. If you want to work with bands, your work should start making musicians think this person understands artwork, identity, and mood. If you want to do book covers, your work should start making the authors think this person can communicate tone, genre, and story. If you want gallery work, your art should start feeling intentional and collectible and worth hanging. That is a direction. And once direction becomes clearer, style starts to emerge through repetition. That is the part artists often miss. Style is usually not something that you discover in a dramatic moment. It is something that appears when you make enough work in a consistent direction. When your taste, decisions, themes, influences, and priorities start repeating, that is when people begin to recognize your work. Not because you forced a style, because you built one through the direction that you have. And I had to learn that the hard way, honestly. Early in my career, I was making fan art, random pieces, undercharging, posting constantly, and trying to get noticed. Some of that helped, some of it got attention, but a lot of it was disconnected. I was busy, but I weren't building clearly, and busy is not the same as building. That changed when I stopped thinking, what style should I have? And started thinking, what kind of work do I want to be known for? That one question changes everything, because now your portfolio becomes more focused, your content becomes more focused, the opportunities you have become more focused, even the work you say no to becomes clearer. And suddenly your art starts to build towards something instead of just existing online. So if you feel stuck, stop asking only this, how do I find my style? And start asking, what do I want this work to lead to? What kind of projects do I want more of? What do I actually want to attract? What themes, mood, or subjects keep showing up in the work that I care most about? What kind of work would I still want to be making if nobody clapped for it immediately? Those questions are far more useful, because if you answer them honestly, style stops being this mysterious thing that you're waiting for. It becomes the byproduct of clear decisions. And this is the part artists, they don't want to hear. You can have a beautiful style and still go nowhere. If the work has no direction, no audience, no purpose, no connection to the career you want, a nice style alone, it just won't save you. It might impress people, it might get a few likes, it might even get other artists asking what brush you use. But that is not the same as building something real. Direction is what turns artwork into a path. So no, your art style probably isn't the main problem. Your direction is. Good news is, it is completely fixable. You do not need to reinvent your entire art style in a week. You need to get clearer about where you're going in your career. Then start making works of art that proves it. Because the goal is not just to have a style, the goal is to build a body of work that points towards the career you actually want. If you are an artist trying to price your work properly, attract better clients, and build a more sustainable creative career, I've written a 300-page plus book called The Profitable Artist. It covers pricing, positioning, clients, income streams, and the business systems artists need to make money from their work. The link is in the description below, but I want to know, do you think your real problem is style or is it direction? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you for watching.